In this presentation, we're going to take a look at the framing capability inside Revit architecture and how that will also add to the BIM information and scheduling that you can take from your model. Currently, I have a floor plan view and then a 3D view that is showing the internal framing components. If I select a couple of these walls in my floor plan, and then I go ahead and launch the Revit extensions where they now have a wood frame wall extension and bring that up, that'll bring me into an environment that is showing me all of the 3 walls that I selected. On the top left hand side here, if I go into my studs and blocking, I can select one wall and make that active, whatever wall I want to work on. So let's say I want to work on this wall right here. Under the studs, it's telling me the overall length, how many intermediate studs that I want. So in other words, if I set this to 2, you can see it increase, and I can specify the spacing between those studs. The blocking, if I want to apply any blocking, I could say apply to all walls, and let's put blocking at 6 foot high. And then you'll see the blocking to generate the horizontal elements. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Down here I have the profile of the stud, 4.5 by 1.5. Then I can go into the external framing, which will get me into the left and right stud. It'll get me to the top plate. Let's say, for example, the top plate, we want to go with a double top plate. And we want to rotate that profile so the thin side is facing us. And then we'll go into the bottom plate and we'll just rotate that and have a single bottom plate. And we can go continue to do this to the other wall as well. Let's take a look at this wall here, which also has a header piece. So if I start with the studs and blocking, I have all that same information that we just went through. I go to the external framing, and we'll go ahead and go with the double top plate. Oh, I'm sorry, we're on the bottom plate. On the top plate, we'll go ahead and go to double. Make sure those are rotated, and then you can specify your left and right stud. Now when I go to openings, we have king studs, headers, and sills that we can specify as well. Once we're done selecting everything, you just pick OK, and then Revit will go ahead and frame out that wall construction. Once it's done, you'll see it pop up in the 3D view. And we can see those walls right here that we just framed out. And in our plan view, we can see the stud layout as well. Now all these are individual items. Right now it's classified as a rectangular timber beam and it's a 2x4. That information can be grabbed, it can be scheduled, it can be phased, and you can do all the same kind of BIM quantity takeoff that you can with any Revit element.